Hello, everybody. Welcome back to ND Ice. I'm your host, David Trinka, alongside Ian Iverson and Lincoln Retzloff. And we have another week. It is the second episode of December on December 9th, and we are coming off of the road weekend at St. Cloud State. Last episode, we went over the, what was the series before that? Bemidji State. And then went over St. Cloud State, and I also I crashed out about my microphone. So we'll be going over this week's that matchup, the St. Cloud matchup, and then this coming week's matchup at home against Omaha. They're playing them for the third and fourth time already this season. And then we'll go through some weekend recap, the vent line, some World Junior stuff, it looks like. New updates on where players will be internationally during December that are on UND. And then we'll also go over our score predictions from last weekend. So why don't we do some weekend recaps? What did everybody do?
Um, I kind of just hung out here and watched the games. Obviously, it was pretty good weekend to watch the games. Snow came in, so I didn't really do a whole lot. Honestly, I can't really remember much, but no, I just hung out here and had a good time in the old Forks. So,
DT at all?
I think I went one night, maybe Saturday. Yeah, I don't really remember.
Watch the football game, yeah?
Yeah, that was disappointing. I could talk about that all day, but this is a hockey show, so yeah,
True.
no, yeah, it was pretty laid back. Besides, yeah, I watched a lot of sports on Saturday, I suppose. All the college football, honestly, not it's coming
Mm-hmm.
back, but yeah, that's about it.
Sounds good. Ian?
Yeah, I mean, Friday, watched the game for the first period, and then I think I fell asleep for like a period and a half, and I woke up halfway through the third. Uh, Caught up on some much needed rest.
Which game? Friday or
Saturday,
Saturday? Friday?
was-
Okay.
yeah, I think it was Friday. I don't know. Then Saturday, just kind of drove around the cities. Went to go grab a pair of shorts from somebody on Facebook Marketplace. Always a score.
Oh,
Uh, Um,
nice.
watch my Bulldogs take a dub over Alabama. So that was great to see. And yeah,
SEC
well,
title?
yeah, they're rolling.
Sweet.
They looked pretty dang good. So I'm
Sick
excited
'em.
for them. They have the bye and they play the winner of I want to say Ole Miss and Tulane. So that should be hopefully a pretty easy win. Yeah, it's pretty much how my weekend went.
Can we get a bark?
Oh my
No,
god.
Come
not that
on.
not that much of a fanatic.
Okay. Yeah, for me, uh, took off work earlier on Friday so I could head down to St. Cloud and make it to the game in time. Uh, yeah, went to the game on Friday. Went with my brother and his buddy. That was a lot of fun. Using my dad's season tickets that he's had at St. Cloud State that for 5 years that he's never even been in. He lives in St. Cloud. He's never even gone. But he's had these season tickets for like 5 years now. He was some we were at on Saturday we were at what's the bar called? The Ultimate. And a couple of UND guys that were there convinced him to go to the game with them on Saturday. So my dad actually stepped foot. He was boots on ground at the Herb for the first time since before COVID happened. So that was interesting. Obviously, UND got a big dub, and that was a lot of fun to see. It's a hard place to sweep, and growing up in St. Cloud, uh, you want to go in there and win for sure. Watching the UND win there is a lot of fun. So yeah, and then drove back on Sunday. So pretty light besides the hockey, but you know we at the Ultimate, sorry, we got to watch NDSU. It was apparently it's like an NDSU kind of like bar. Like there's a lot of NDSU fans that go to that bar in St. Cloud and watch the game. So we got to witness the Bison lose miraculously in front of a bunch of Bison fans. It was a cherry on top to a good afternoon before the game. So,
And you also met the like assistant, was it the assistant president of St. Cloud? Who'd you
oh
meet?
yeah, good point. Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, on Friday, uh, us locals, or I should say my brother more so knows it, but we park in this other lot, not in front of the Herb, and then we walk through the student event center, and it's just a short walk, like if you were to be walking through like the Union to get to class or something. But this older gentleman was walking behind us, and we were admiring the rock wall that we used to climb on when we were kids there, and he thanked us for coming to the game and appreciated that we had traveled down here. And he ended up being the current interim president of St. Cloud State. So it's one of those moments where you never really know who you're going to run into. It was really interesting. I talked to him a little bit about like the plan for St. Cloud State, what the current state of the college is, and then also how it got to the current state it was in. So yeah, it was really interesting talking to him. He was really nice, really cool. Took the time to answer some questions and just talk to us. So that was it's a pretty cool moment for sure. And then I thought I saw Juddy's older brother in the ultimate as well. But my brother thought it was my brother went to I mean we kind of my brother went to he graduated I think a year old above Spencer Meyer, the old former captain of St. Cloud State, and he thought it was him. I went up to go talk to him just in case it was Juddy's brother, and then I realized he had a St. Cloud State shirt on. I'm like, that's Spencer Meyer. I'm not going to go talk to him. So, and then he was walking out of the bathroom on Saturday night. I was like, Spencer, what's up? Are you trying to shake his hand? And I told him I also went to Sartell, and then he's like, I'm not shaking your hand when you're wearing that. And I was wearing a Sioux jersey, so that was pretty funny. Classy guy, but nevertheless, good weekend in St. Cloud. Should we do the score predictions before we go over the weekend, or should we do that after we kind of get into the recap?
We can do it during the recap. That's fine.
Okay. So if you missed it last weekend, North Dakota headed to St. Cloud State, and what did they sweep last year too there? What was the final scores there? I'm pretty sure we won both games, or at least tied in one. We didn't lose a game, I don't think.
It was a shootout and a win. That sounds right. Four
Yeah.
out of 5 out of 6.
Yeah. Well, Ian's looking that up. We'll go over this weekend. Two big wins for UND. Cody Kroll came out scoring in the first one. Was pretty much immediately answered by a St. Cloud State goal. That was shorthanded. A beautiful goal, by the way. I don't. You guys saw that? I hope. You got to give credit where credit was due. It was a great individual effort by Barrett Hall, shorthanded, and then David Klee with an absolute knife to make it 2-1, and then St. Cloud State answered almost immediately in the second period, followed by a Dylan James power play goal, which was tipped in front, I believe, from shot from Jake from the point. And then in the third period, Zeller's great individual effort in front of the net pulled it from his. I want to say I think he's a lefty. So is he lefty or right? He's a lefty. Pulled it off of his one-handed to into his body through his feet around the goalie's pad and just tucked it far side on the goaltender. Just a great goal. And then Gavin Thorson made it a one-goal game with about 7 minutes to go. But it wasn't enough. UND was able to hold on for a 4-3 victory on the Friday night. And then on Saturday, you would think St. Cloud State would come out pretty heavy, but UND kind of stayed in control the whole weekend. Kay Littler came out with 2 goals, one on the power play, which was the first one, and then got a deflection in off of himself for the second goal to make it 2-0. And then pretty controversial call. We can maybe talk about it in a little bit, but Keaton Verhoff got kicked out of the game for a light butt end to Gavin Thorson. Lincoln, do you kind of want to talk about your angle on that real quick?
Uh, yeah, I'll get into that a little bit. It's kind of an interesting play. Gavin Thorson being the big agitator he was. I don't know. It was obviously a penalty. There's no doubt about that. You can't do that. I don't even think Verhoff knew necessarily that what he was doing probably was illegal. It was probably just like it's like after the play you could go cross check some dude in the head and you won't get called for that. But it's funny watching the icing. Verhoff beats him out pretty quickly, and at least from what I remember rewatching it, Gavin Thorson, he doesn't run into Verhoff, but he skates. He could have skated off. He skates kind of directly to him and starts saying a few things, and obviously it rattled Keaton, so he gave him a little nudge. And then Thorson just starts skating all over like he's been assaulted and um, goes complains to the refs, gets the Verhoff thrown out. I mean, credit to Thorson for doing that. Whatever, man. I mean, if that's the only way you can win a game is by getting a 5 minute major on your Olympic ice sheet and bury goals. Like that's if that's the team you want to be, you're not going to get very far in the playoffs. But yeah,
hmm
I don't know. That was just kind of a funky moment. Definitely a penalty and a learning experience for Verhoff. So
Yeah.
uh, just don't let Gavin Thorson get to you. Is I think the lesson that was learned.
Yeah, good point there. Yeah, like Lincoln said, Thorson a little bit of an agitator. Keaton just kind of gave him a little, it wasn't even hard, like a butt end nudge, but obviously it's illegal. And St. Cloud State, there was no call on the play, and St. Cloud State is going to challenge it. And I don't know if there's a version of a butt end. I was talking to a coworker today who does reffing pretty often, and if they called it on the ice, they could maybe reduce it to like a roughing minor for two. But obviously, when a team challenges, you either have to call it a five or nothing. And clearly, the refs felt obligated enough to call it a major and a game misconduct. So. And Keaton kind of lingered there on the penalty bench for a second until he wandered to he was told to leave, and he looked pretty frustrated going down the tunnel. I had a good view of him. So unfortunate for him, but yeah, learning experience. I heard he felt. I mean, the article Schloss wrote, he felt pretty bad about it, is what Dane Jackson said. So it's whatever. Yeah. So St. Cloud State immediately scored on. I don't know if they immediately scored, but they scored pretty quickly on the power play at the end of the second. The penalty came with would have overlapped into the third. So they got the goal at the end of the second, and you kind of just sitting there after they score that first one, and you're kind of mad about the penalty, and then you're like, great. I really hope there's just not an avalanche coming here on this penalty kill. So luckily they made it out of the second, and then went into the third period and killed off the rest of that major, and then St. Cloud State tied the game up. I think it was a scrum pretty much in the front of the net, and they just were able to pound it past the pad of uh, Jan Spunar. Then luckily, uh, North Dakota had a really fancy, really nice looking shorthanded goal for their own on Saturday to answer back the one St. Cloud had on Friday. Uh, Koreshny leaves the zone, uh, jumps on a puck, brings it in, slows down for the rest of his team to gain the zone, and then drops it back for Max Swanson, who just made a beautiful pass to Jake Levinovich to bury a one-timer. One of the nicest shorthanded goals you're going to see. It was a broken play, and when you got guys who can create off of a broken play like that in such a fancy manner, it's a good thing to have. And then Jake Levinovich sealed the game with an empty netter with 4 seconds to go. Just an absolute blast. Great shot from, like, I want to say the goal line, was it not? Pretty much.
That was a nice one. Yeah, it was pretty long distance.
Yeah. Great aim there. So the second game on Saturday, two players had all the goals for UND. Kay Littler two, Jake Livanovich two. One at even strength each, and then one on special teams each. Ian, you're kind of absent there for a sec.
No, I was just getting my chicken sandwiches out of the oven, so
Oh, sweet. Look at that. Nice.
they're gonna
Gonna
be
make
good.
everyone hungry.
Oh yeah.
Um, you have anything to add on the call on Keaton Verhoff, or the shorthanded goal Jake Livanovich had? Anything like that?
I'll comment on both. I mean, kind of like we said, it's pretty silly that they ended up reviewing that after all of that. Like to me, it's like kind of a bad precedent that, if a player whines enough about it, about
I think it was a
something.
challenge.
Yeah, I think it was. But, like a player whining that much, to the refs
Yeah.
letting a player do that for a full minute and then saying, okay, we're finally going to review. I don't know. And plus, they showed the replay in the stadium, which is something that you don't typically do, because it fires the fans up, and that
Did you
can
go to
also.
one of the games?
No, but I think you texted me saying they just showed it on the replay.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Um, It was really soft. Thornton is one of those guys that just does that to us for some reason. I know he ran TJ last year in an attempt to get us to take a lot of penalties and kind of, all that. But Keaton will learn. I mean, he's barely even 17 and a half. And it was just a little lapse in clarity, and I'm sure he learned, and I'm sure Dane wasn't too hard on him about it because that's one of the softest butt ends majors you'll ever see. Um,
And we won the game, so
yeah.
true.
And the shorthanded goal, if anybody hasn't seen it, that is a pretty beautiful goal. You don't see somebody hit a one-time bar down goal on a shorthanded on a chance. So it was pretty freaking sweet.
Yeah, it was a great one. So two nice looking shorthanded goals this weekend, one for each team. We will see. Yeah, so okay, I didn't mean to do that. All right. North Dakota is on a heater. It's great to see UND. We'll go through kind of our takeaways here of the series, I guess. UND obviously playing some phenomenal hockey. It's been a real pleasure to watch them the last 2 weeks. It's munching right now. Yeah, it's been a pleasure watching them the last 2 weekends. Just great hockey. Feeling right now, feeling pretty high, pretty confident on this team. I'm pretty comfortable where we're at in the rankings too. We don't need to be number one until March. So if we get there, I'm not saying we will, but I'm fine being at five right now. You got something to aim towards, and you can just go after that. So North Dakota 8-1 in their last nine since their overtime loss to Minnesota Duluth. Uh, they have gone 8-1, only losses to Arizona State. And in since November 1st, which is the day the Minnesota Duluth game happened, they got a four. They're averaging 4.22 goals for and 2.11 goals against. So it's a pretty good margin to have. You got two goals of your plus two goals in each game. Power play is at 37% since then, and they've got a power play goal in their last four games. Every team except Arizona State has been held to well below their average goals per game. Ian, I assume that was some of your research there.
Yeah, I just ran, quick statistics, and I think besides Arizona State, who is like they're like 2.88 goals per game, so that's they scored six on the weekend, so three each night. Um, Bemidji it has 3.2. We held them to I think 2 goals per game. Omaha we held to like 1.5, and they're usually around 2.5 to 3. And then same for St. Cloud. Like we have had a pretty good stretch of defense, and that's been something we have missed. And I know in the past couple years our goal spread has been much tighter. So it's good to see us, really controlling the pace with a lot of teams, and it's interesting to see this early. It gives me a lot of optimism for stuff that could happen in the second half of the season. Barring we keep everybody healthy and we keep playing the way we do. I mean, 12-4 is a very impressive start, and it gets hard to derail your season from here on out. So I'm glad we've taken the initiative early to get ahead and hoping that the second half we continue to improve.
For sure. Lincoln, what's your got thoughts on the St. Cloud series? What'd you see?
Yeah, I just thought, like you were saying, Dave, they're getting better every game they play, every period, every they just look good. Like, and we talk about it all the time on this podcast, but like this team's not even fully healthy either, and it's like we're probably not going to see this team fully intact for at least what till after the Mercyhurst series. That'll be the next time we see this entire team play together. So I mean, we'll get into our predictions for this game later, but I mean, man, if or for the Omaha series later, but man, if they win two games here today, this weekend without Reshny and Verhoff, and then Mercyhurst hasn't won a game this year, but UND might not have like anyone. But if they can do all that without half their team put together, and there's so many guys are. What I love about it is so many guys are getting to play right now. So I think like at
Hmm.
any moment you can just throw someone in, and I think that's just like the absolute beauty of this team. This is definitely like we've heard in the past about last year I think a lot of people thought, oh, this UND team has a lot of depth. Like Bradbury said that at his Bradbury and Lou Jamnick literally told that to me at their opening media day last year. And yeah, there were some good players on that team, but there really wasn't as much depth as you would have thought. Like they just
Hmm.
were running Omac and Jaden Perron in situations where they shouldn't. But I think you look at this team and you go, yeah, this team actually does have depth. Depth at literally every position, at forward, defense, and goaltender. So like it's fun to see, and you're seeing it on the ice, and it's happy. It's just happy to see them convert and play so well on the road too. I think that's another positive also.
Feels like our third and fourth lines have outperformed our top two lines,
They
which is
step up, yeah. They step up
ridiculous.
when they need to play. That's what makes them
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah, they've been great, and especially with, like you said, Lincoln, we've been riddled with injuries here and there so far this season. Zakreski was coming off to a great start, and he's been out since November, early November, or October even, late
Early October.
October.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact game. He went down
Um,
pretty early.
yeah, he was just getting rolling. Obviously, his foot injury, ankle injury, leg injury, what's called lower body
Yeah.
injury on crutches. I think he's been walking now on his boot. Obviously, no skating yet. Hopefully, he'll be able to be back. I don't know what the timeline is really, but you'd think maybe hopefully in January. And then obviously, Z's been out. Bennett Zamolik has been out last 2 weekends. What was he last weekend? He played Arizona State. So he's been out. Hopefully he can return. You want to see him play as many games as he can. He's one of those guys where you don't really think, but he can change the game. He makes a lot of good blocks, a lot of good defensive plays. And he's the captain, so that obviously is a big piece too. And then we're missing uh,
Would
Rick Wood. Yeah, now he's a huge game changer too. He's your first line center, guy who can win draws, guy who battles. So hopefully they can get him back, and then yeah, we'll go over it here in a little bit, but the international competition players, anyone that's participating in those is going to be gone. So it's going to be it's going to set up a pretty interesting situation with, like you said, Lincoln, the Mercyhurst series. So if UND does get healthy in January, it'll be really interesting to see how well they all play together with a full squad again because they've been pretty well. They've been pretty good, obviously, without their top players, but or some of their top players, but be nice to have everybody. So yeah, UND hops up to 12-4 on the season. Only two losses in the NCHC, only one in regulation. That's the Arizona State so far. They go, they'll stay home this weekend to face Omaha for the second series of the year. Omaha currently sits at 6-8. They have a 22% power play percentage and a 72% penalty kill. They're 2-6 at home, so an abysmal home record, and then they're 4-2 on the road, which is pretty interesting. We'll see how they come into our. But obviously, a lot of players come in, or not players, teams come in here and they want to win in the Ralph. Omaha has been that team for a long time. Usually end up taking a game from UND at the Ralph. It would spoil a lot of even some of the best teams UND's had in the past. They'd spoil their if it was a senior night or whatever, it was sometimes, but they'd always come in and win one. Anybody got anything to say about the some of the opening stats here before we continue into the preview?
I don't think anybody would have thought that Lukosi would be this poor.
Hmm.
He's getting outperformed by his backup, which is actually really interesting. So
Yeah.
yeah, if you told me that Lukosi would have a so far pretty subpar year, I'd be surprised. Same
Hmm.
thing with, Hampton Sakinski over there at Western Michigan too. It's interesting seeing these returning goalies that have just struggled.
Yeah, Igor. I don't know if Igor is still doing poorly for BU, but we talked about it before. Those are the two national championship goalies from last year who are both freshmen, and now they're both struggling. So yeah, Simon Lukosi on that downward trend from last year, along with, like we said, Hampton Sakinski. Also, Rabel, I think was, or maybe Booyah. What's the guy from Maine?
Yeah, boy, yeah.
Boya,
Got it.
another goaltender. It's interesting the trend this year with that. So Simon Lecosey, you assume he's going to start here. I don't obviously you don't know, but 4-7, 3.57 goals against average or goals against average, and then an 8.94 save percentage. And then Dawson Cowan is 2-1, 2.35 goals against, 9.32 save percentage. So significantly better than Simon Lecosey has been. You got to think that they're going to question it, but I would still put Simon Lecosey in. I haven't watched Omaha games. I don't know if it's one of those situations like UND has where Gibson Homer's a good goalie. Their team has just played poorly in front of him every time. Not every time, but a lot of the times he's lost.
Hmm.
So you got to think Simon Lecosey will hopefully pick it up for them. Obviously, we talked about North Dakota is 12-4 right now, fourth in the nation on the power play at 30%, fifth in goals per game with 3.81, eighth in goal margin, 1.38. Jan Spunar has been the starter of the last four games. He is 8-0 as a freshman, 1.75 goals against average, and a 9.29 save percentage. Phenomenal so far. Ian, thank you for putting those stats in there. Beauty. Anyone got anything to add on to our North Dakota's percentages? All right.
I
So,
guess I should go.
all
Sorry.
right. Oh, you're good.
Um, I mentioned it last week, but I think I said something along the lines of I think this season is all about breaking patterns.
hmm
Um, and like we thought exactly that. I mean, you guys had both said we were going to come into this series with a. Did I
Okay,
just
we're
die there?
back.
Am I
I
I
alive?
think I think it's our Wi-Fi. I think it's our Wi-Fi. But yeah, you were kind of paused. It was hilarious. I mean,
You're
we could
good
still hear
though.
your voice. You were just yeah. All right, go back to what you were
Funny.
saying.
Like you guys had both expected us to go into St. Cloud with a split, and I was like, you know what? I think this is the season where Dane says like we need to just start breaking these patterns. And we did exactly that. I mean, I don't know if we went over score predictions, but I had to toot my own horn. I was spot on Friday night, and I was
Oh
on
yeah, we
pace to
didn't
be
talk about that.
correct Saturday night if we didn't take that major penalty. I think it was 2-0, and we were still controlling the pace. So I'll give
hmm
myself the benefit of the doubt and say I got it spot on. I should
You
have put a
did
parlay
great.
on something, but
You did
yeah,
great.
I mean, I don't know. Like we said, I honestly think this is one of the weekends where Omaha steals a game just because, we have quite a few guys out that are difference makers. But I don't think that's a bad thing. Like even if we split here, yeah, it costs us 3 conference points, but we're 13-5 going into the break. That's really good for UND's
hmm
history in the first half of the season. Like, and that's okay. I mean, not saying it's okay to lose, but
hmm
without Rick Woods, Molek, Veerhoff, Reshny, Zakreski, like right there, that's four of our difference makers. So I think it'll be definitely a harder weekend to sweep. I'm hoping that the younger guys have a lot of motivation that they can break out this weekend and get us 2 more wins, but we'll see. I mean, this is a team that very high caliber offense, and we were kind of thinking we'd be more of a defensive team, and as of right now, it's like we're both. So
Hmm.
it's a pretty good problem to have. And the littlest problems are just discipline issues on the ice, in little moments. So it's like there's not a lot to complain about at this point in the season.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I would agree with that. I kind of going back to I wonder how Omaha is gonna take this weekend. How hard they're gonna play. We were talking a little bit about Lecosey. Lecosey did play the last two games for him, but I feel like Lecosey's kind of been getting lit up against UND lately. And
Oh yeah, big
you
time.
know, we always talk about at the end of the year when we play UND plays Omaha, and that's when they steal the game against North Dakota because it's like
hmm
that's just what they do. But now we're playing them for the second time in this or in the last 2 months, so it's a little interesting. Like I definitely think it's gonna be a little bit different. And then again, you got to take in we're not gonna have UND's not gonna have Reshny or Verhoff, which they played without Verhoff last weekend a little bit. Hopefully Jubenville's back. I don't think he played last weekend either. I think he was a little banged up too, but he should get some more minutes. it'll be interesting to see what they do without Reshny. I did see. I actually think it was on Twitter. DJ's mom tweeted out that Rickwood was coming back. So I
When?
Well,
I
that's
don't know.
surprise.
Not that. So I guess maybe if Rickwood's back, then that's good. I guess. So I don't know. We'll
Like this
find out
weekend?
tomorrow's the yeah tomorrow's the press conference. So we'll find out then. I'm sure someone will ask. So I don't know.
Yeah, my hypothesis is that they were honestly just resting them extra games because of the role we've been on, and I think they're just saying, "Hey, we're gonna be without all these guys,
Let
for
you rest up.
first, like just let them rest up and we can win the games right now." Which, I mean, it's a pretty good idea. It's good to have Rickwood back in the absence of Reshny because Reshny was kind of our top faceoff guy while he was out. So,
Absolutely.
um, I like the idea. If that is the idea, I'm not going to quote Dan. I'm sure he knows plenty more than I do, but that's what it seems like.
Yeah. Do we want to go over the score predictions from last week, or did we good not doing that? I have them here if we want to. I don't have a problem if we do or not.
Uh, I don't care. We could probably move past it since we're kind of talking about Ian. Ian got it closest though. Just on the record, Ian had the
Yeah,
best
Thanks,
predictions.
guys.
absolutely. Keep it up. Yeah, so we were just kind of talking about it. Verhoff and Reshny in the news. They got selected yesterday on Monday for the Canadian World Junior Camp. They'll go this week and get evaluated and hopefully get selected to be on Team Canada. Them along with Ethan McKenzie, who is committed to UND. He'll be coming in next year. He's playing for the Edmonton Oil Kings and lighting it up right now. So congratulations to him. He's I want to say the only undrafted guy on that Canadian junior camp roster right now. So just a great way to get recognized, just having a great year and getting put on to the potentially the Canadian World Junior team. So good for him. A guy you want to look forward to having next year. I believe he's 6 foot. He's got a good two-way game. So we'll look out for him. Anyone who's going to be watching the World Juniors, and then we talked about a little bit last week that EJ Emery and Caleb Heil. Caleb Heil is a commit to UND. He'll be coming in next year. He's a goaltender, and then obviously EJ Emery, a defenseman, got selected for the equivalent of that, but for the United States. They don't have to leave this week. They get to come next week, immediately following the Omaha series. So we will be with Emery this weekend, and then recently uh, in the news, what we were kind of questioning, Will Zellers will go after all to that camp as well to be evaluated and hopefully get picked for the World Junior USA team. So he will be leaving Grand Forks this weekend as well for that. So interesting situation. I mean, I can't remember the last time we've had this many guys get evaluated for World Junior camps, especially including guys who are committed still and aren't even on the team yet. That's 6 guys alone being evaluated for the World Juniors. I don't know what other programs have that many guys. Michigan has like I want to say maybe 3 to either, maybe 4 uh, to either team. Not like each team, but like combined. And then Penn State's got maybe 3. Uh, Michigan State's got a couple.
Minnesota's got two, I
So
think.
they got 2.
I think
Yeah.
Zemer and
So
Mooney.
what you saying?
Zemer and Mooney, I believe.
And
Hmm.
they have a commit, Vachnica or whatever his name is.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yep. What's his name? I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Is he a defenseman?
I.
I think he's a forward.
What
Okay.
is his name?
I'm
Isn't
not
it like?
sure.
Is it? It's
I
not
like
I.
to I like to say that Motzko promised him a World Junior spot if he committed to the U. So that I mean, he's a seventh rounder. He's not exactly lighting it up. I think he's in the W right now, but yeah, it's funny to me. It kind of seems like Motzko got bullied into bringing Zellers onto the preliminary roster because everybody I saw, even Gopher fans were like, "Why isn't Zeller selected for this?"
Hmm.
So I like to think
Yep.
that as you guys know, I'm a kind of a Motzko hater, but I thought, for once he actually made kind of a good choice. So
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, Zellers obviously didn't got left off of it, and then had another good weekend for UND, scoring a great goal and having an assist on Saturday. So Yeah, he gets included on it. He currently sits, I want to say, second in the NCAA in freshman goals, which is he's at what, 10?
10.
So he now leads UND in goals, one ahead of senior Ben Strinden at 9. So yeah, Will Zeller is looking great. And then obviously across the world will be Abram Weeb and Jake Livanowicz playing in Davos for uh what is it called again? I'm blanking. The
Spengler
Champions
Cup.
Cup?
Spengler.
Spengler Cup, right. Spengler Cup. They'll be playing on the Canadian Superstar team or All-Star team, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, that is going to bring up an interesting situation that I think. Oh wait, should we get into that right now, or should we wait or do the goal prediction or score prediction for Omaha and then do um the situation, international
Um,
situation?
I
let's just
honestly
go.
have no idea what this weekend's gonna look like. Like,
Yeah, I don't know either.
it's kind of tough. I mean, it could be exactly like it was in Omaha, but it could also be that they definitely steal a game. That's kind of what I'm leaning towards,
Yeah,
just
If
because of the
it,
absences we'll have.
well, at what point do you start Gibson Homer? Like if Yan wins on Friday, do you give just him a rest on Saturday, or do you continue to roll him out until he loses?
Homer or Spunar.
Spunar.
You play them both nights, and then you split them against Mercyhurst. You start them Friday against Mercyhurst. If they blow them out, then you play Homer on Saturday.
Oh my
That is
gosh.
my bold prediction for what is going to happen.
I think Zach
They're
Sandy
gonna,
nights. That's my prediction.
Yes,
oh
there you go.
man. You guys are just trolling. Uh yeah, so I mean we were already talking about it. Let's just get it wrapped up here, the international talk. So obviously we'll get a good timeline. Hopefully this will help the viewers visualize this. Uh Verhoff and Reshny leave. They will be out this weekend against Omaha. That's two games that they're gonna both miss. And then Zellers, Emery, they go after this weekend, don't miss anything. Depending on how far USA makes it and Canada makes it, I mean, they have to like royally screw it up to be able to make the Mercyhurst weekend. Even if you're playing in the quarterfinals, you're going to miss at least Friday, I feel like. So I think that there's honestly no chance that any of those guys make it back. So you're missing Emery, maybe Zellers, and Verhoff and Reshny more than likely four. So that's three. Let's just say three guys. That's two more games. That's four games missed for Verhoff, four for Reshny, two for Emery, and then maybe two for Zellers, depending on if he makes it. Um, and then we've been living Ovidge. I don't know what the schedule for the Spengler Cup looks like, Lincoln. I know you mentioned to me it to me earlier, like a couple days ago, that they can make it back, but they will be on a tight ship and they will be pretty tired.
That's what I heard. Yeah,
Yeah, it's the Spengler Cup, to my knowledge, is it ends on the 31st, so that gives them kind of a day and a half of turnaround time. And, with
Hmm.
jet lag and everything else included, it's if if it were me, I would bank on them playing Saturday, but not Friday. I think that extra day is going to be pretty
I could
crucial
see them.
to.
I could see them both dressing, but their minutes would be so limited. Like they would be one of those things you would maybe, depending on how it went, like three or four shifts max. That would be my prediction if I had to guess. If for the Friday game at least.
Yeah, kind of roll them out whenever you need them.
Yeah, essentially like power play and shit, like stuff like that.
Sure.
Yeah, that leaves us without four defensemen, and this is barring if everybody makes the roster. From what I've read, it kind of goes any direction. Like all four of these guys could easily make the final roster, and two or three of them couldn't. So it's like we'll see. I'm gonna bank on all four of them going. But yeah, that
What are
leaves
the
two lines of defensemen for Mercyhurst, which is it's Mercyhurst, but then again, it's like you don't want to lose to those guys either.
hmm What were the ones that you did see that were getting left off list? What was the trend that you saw the most? Or what was the guy
Um,
who made it every time onto their team, and then which ones were the ones that were spotty?
Seems like Veerhoff is the most likely to make it no matter what. I saw Reshny kind of get projected as being a winger on one of the bottom two lines, but I also saw one that was like Veerhoff is going to be one of the last two guys on the roster, so it's
That's
kind of
what
a
I've
bit of
heard.
everything. Emery, I would assume with Motzko's team not having really any pure defensemen, that he's kind of a lock. And then Zellers, I mean, who knows? Based on how Motzko likes his players, LJ Mooney's going to play in the top six, and then they're going to kick Zellers off the team. So it's like, we'll see. But I honestly have hope that all four of them will make it. I'm a little worried that if one or multiple of them gets hurt at the World Juniors, that we're looking a little different towards the second half of the season. But
Mhm.
we'll find out.
Yeah, I just don't see the point of inviting Zellers at the. I mean, he still has to make the team. I just don't see the point of bringing him in and then cutting him now, unless he has like an abysmal tryout. But I don't see that happening. And then to the Verhoff point, I think it's gonna come down to between Verhoff, Carson Carrolls. I think I'm pronouncing his last name right. Who, by the way, would be a great commit for UND to get next year. He'd be amazing. And then Jackson Smith with Penn State. And I would cut Jackson Smith and keep Verhoff because I think Verhoff has statistically had a better season, but I think Jackson Smith is older by maybe a year. So we'll see what happens there. But I don't know.
I think you're right with that. Yeah.
I've seen some with Verhoff not on it. But it honestly depends who you go to. I try not to look at too many of them because I feel like half these guys projecting Canada's roster have no clue what they're talking about when it comes to like the college hockey game at this point.
Right.
Like, so I don't know. We'll see what happens. It's still up in the air.
Yeah, for sure. So UND's team could look pretty weird come Mercer series. Um, yeah. So trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to go over there. World Juniors, if you guys don't know, is in the cities this holiday season. Starts on December 26th and goes until December or January 6th. Uh, get your tickets while you can. It's going to be a great time. Let us know on maybe event line or the comments of these if you are going to any of the games. It'll be quite a show. Anyway, let's get on to we'll do score predictions and then we'll do event line and then we'll do extras. So I know you guys said you don't really know what's going to happen, but that doesn't stop us from doing score predictions. So everyone, please go on to the Google Doc, type your name and a colon, and then enter in your score predictions. I will keep talking. Friday, I'm going to say UND wins. I don't know what their goal average is. We'll just do 4-2 win. I'll say
Seems
4-2 win on Friday. Huh?
so that
Say?
seems like the pattern.
Yeah, for sure. And then we'll do, I don't know if Simon Closey's going to give up that many. I'll do a 2-1 win in overtime to get the sweep on Saturday. I think Closey's going to have a better game on Saturday. Or maybe they'll play, it could double up. It could be, they'll play Cowan
God,
or whatever his name is, and then
jeez.
he'll win. What happened? Okay,
Go
Lincoln, what
ahead,
the heck?
Lincoln.
Yeah, go ahead. Why don't you tell me your
You guys are
prediction
gonna hear
here?
in your first thoughts. We don't know what's gonna happen this weekend, but I'm gonna throw this out here. Friday, 5-2 win, and let's have some
Jeez.
fun. 8-0 UND Saturday. Simon
Jeez.
Latkozy is gonna get. DJ is gonna have a hat trick. Absolutely torch him on his glove side. It's gonna be hilarious.
I actually kind of
Probably
like
not gonna,
this.
probably not gonna happen, but you gotta have a little fun with it. So I'm gonna say
Oh,
eight
great.
zero. Watch UND lose like 5-0 or so. I don't know, but
Ian's numbers are inflating now that you said that.
uh,
His
gotta have a little
score
fun with
prediction's
it.
inflating. Jeez. All right, Ian, go ahead.
I think we drop one in overtime Friday. I just think we kind of have a bit of a scare, and I think Simon stands on his head a little bit. Um, but yeah, I don't think he does that two nights in a row, and I think we light him up 6-1 on Saturday. So
Jeez. Hopefully. That'd be a fun game to watch, but
Simon will have a good
eh.
game. I think he'll have one good game. I bet.
Well, 5-2 and 8-0 is not a very good game either night. So I don't know which one you want to pick, but
I think
unless he's facing 60 shots, like
I honestly do think we lose Friday and then we just get so pissed off Saturday we're like screw it. Like we don't want to go
take
in a
it out on
get
him.
a loss and we just demolish them. I actually kind of like that take.
Yeah.
We're gonna get swept. Oh boy. All right, let's hop into the vent line here. So for those of you who are new here and don't know what the vent line is, I put it out every week after the UND concludes their series, and then people can share their thoughts on it, good or bad. You can do it every week for sure on Instagram. I don't always post it on. Oh my God.
What
At what point did people stop hearing me?
I
Ian, it
Right as you
said,
started,
what did it was the last thing you heard? Do you remember?
right as you started your big statement.
just
So
talk about
vent
the vent line
line.
again. Just talk about the vent line again.
Okay, will you cut that out?
I
No.
if I remember.
Okay,
So talk about
that's not good enough. That's not good
talk
enough. I
about the
need you to
vent
tell
line.
me. I will. You gotta tell me you're gonna cut it out though.
So, guys, the vent line, if you don't know, it's a little segment that David likes to do in his DMs. So feel free if you think
Okay.
he's a handsome
I
man,
see how it
you can
is.
put in there. And
I
but
thought we
yeah,
all like to do it. Thought it
we
was
like to
good.
hear from the people on what you guys think. After all, we are all
Unbelievable.
fans of this team. We care a lot. Um, and yeah, so you can feel free to say whatever you want about the team. I'm sure we'll have some good feedback on Spunar and etc. this weekend. So go and
You guys
open
are
her up, Dave.
you guys are assholes. Okay. Hoping that Lincoln cuts it out, but if not, oh my gosh. So Harrison Phillips said Jan motherfucking Spunar. So let's fucking go. Sorry for the F bomb. Lincoln, I need you to censor that. Thanks. Riley Qualey said NCHE refs Lamau weekend was solid, but Thorson for SCSU has it coming in Grand Forks. Ooh, Lincoln, you got any thoughts?
I like that take. I think I said um I think I texted you guys. I maybe I said this out loud. I was like, some dude on UND just has to just, and I hate promoting this. This is kind of
Just kill
unprofessional to
him.
say, but someone just got to run Thorson. Like someone's gonna do it eventually. It's gonna happen because
He's
he's
only
gonna
five
keep doing
nine.
the crap he does. Or the best way to get rid of him is you just score a bunch of goals on him, make him go -5 or some shit. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's what we used to do, and so for people who maybe became unfamiliar with old school Sioux hockey, like that's what you did. If
Hmm.
anybody started
Oh
stuff,
yeah,
laid the sucker out, and so like yeah, I mean, and what was funny was within 2 minutes of him getting that major penalty, I think it was David Kleber right at St. Cloud's bench. He just laid him out and he yelled at the bench right in front of the St. Cloud guys. So.
how would I
Uh,
miss that? I'm right. How did you get that and I missed it? What the heck?
I remember texting him like somebody just laid out Thorson right next to the bench. I think it was David Clee, but it was good to see that because it's like, you shouldn't let people push you around, much less, get one of your best players kicked out of the game for nothing.
Right.
So like, yeah, I mean, I'd like to see some old school Sioux hockey and we just, demolish
Teach him a
Thornton.
lesson.
He's done it for 2 years. He's got it coming.
Yeah. That one was by Ryan Quilly. Sorry, I didn't mean to say Riley. Uh, Ryan, thanks for listening. I appreciate it. Silky Mitts, welcome back to the vent line. Love this team. Gritty, for sure. I love this team too. Uh, 5-0 Deuce, welcome back to the vent line. He said, great sweep. I agree. Great sweep. And then what does this say? Oh my gosh, I'm in shambles. D. Holly, 12, saying, not saying we should be, I assume they meant to say should be number one, but the disrespect on UND is insane. How are we still going to be ranked what does this say? Number 8 after yet another sweep. Yeah, I mean we can go into that real quick too. The rankings. Obviously, you can't change the NPI, which we're number 5 at right now. Uh, which I'm okay with. Oh, yeah, we're at 5 still, right? Not 4, 5.
We're 5. Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, so NPI is kind of reflecting a lot of what the rankings have been, which is kind of been sitting at 5 the last couple weeks. Uh, it's an algorithm. NPI you can't change, but the rankings. What have you guys been thinking about the rankings? UND got put number 4 in the USCHO poll this week, and I believe they are sixth in the USA hockey poll. Ian, I know you always got thoughts on it. Why don't you share them?
USA hockey has got a bunch of closeted Gopher fans that think they can screw UND is my thoughts. No, I mean, I went through this with somebody, but I'm like, I don't think Michigan deserves to be number one right now. I think that belongs to Wisconsin. They just swept Michigan State and then like dominated Michigan on a Saturday night at Yost. So it's like I think they deserve the one spot. Michigan can stay at two. I have us at three. In USA Hockey, they have Duluth and Denver above us, which we have the head-to-head against Duluth.
Hmm.
So I don't see why we shouldn't be above them. And we've been playing better recently. Duluth has split the last 3 weekends in a row. Um, and then Denver, unless they're playing a top 10 team, they're losing to Alaska Anchorage, So it's like I don't know. I think we're fine at four. I think that's probably the best spot they could have us right now. I don't think we're necessarily a top team, but I do think we are the deepest team in the country, and we have showed that as of right now. So I think staying in the top five is pretty comfy. I don't want to be one. I don't want us to have a target put on our head every
Yeah.
weekend. I why we're getting ranked below Duluth and Denver is kind of just mind-boggling to me. So
Yeah, it's crazy about what Wisconsin's been up to this year. They've had a very impressive jump this year. Obviously dominated a Notre Dame team last weekend, 7-4, 9-2. Yeah, I would agree with you. I think Wisconsin deserves to be number one over Michigan. They're playing great. I'd love to see what the heck Mike Hastings put in the water there this year. They're having a great year. So I don't know if we want to do rankings eventually on this pod. A lot of people, especially I know Adam Woodon, likes to say that rank polls are useless and he hates them because they don't matter. Um, but they are fun. I would if I was on the committee, I would maybe put North Dakota at 4. The highest I go it would be 4 right now, I would say. I could maybe go 3. I would be careful with putting them at 4. I'd like to see them beat another once they play Denver and see how they play Denver, another ranked squad.
Yeah.
I'd be more comfortable putting them a little bit higher, but North Dakota having, I mean, just a phenomenal season, playing really well. I think this team, obviously, you think a team like UND can do damage in the playoffs every year, but this is like, I'm feeling that pretty confident right now that UND could do some postseason damage. Lincoln, you got any thoughts on the rankings before we head into the extras and then wrap this up?
Not really. I try not. I actually don't even like look at the polls barely. I mostly hear about them from you guys. So, yeah, I don't know. I feel like this has always been a problem in college sports where you have like some people who really look at rankings and stuff, and then there's other people who just box score watch, and that they don't even do that. They just scoreboard watch and look at what the final score was. So I think I
We didn't hear anything you said the last 10 seconds.
Anyway, if you want to get, well, essentially what I was saying is if you want to get into that top echelon of teams, you gotta beat someone in the top. And I think UND's highest win was Duluth right now, which is still impressive. But like you were
Hmm.
saying, Dave, they win some games against Denver. I think they should 100% be in that top 1 to 3 ranges where I would argue they could be. But like I was saying originally, I don't care about the polls. Honestly, it's their
Hmm.
MPI is all that matters to me.
Right.
we can talk about whatever the hell is happening to Hockey East this year. So, in case you guys are unfamiliar, Hockey East does not have a single team in the top 10.
Not
Uh,
even hardly. We talked about it a little bit last week. I think that Boston College was 18 and they were the highest ranked one.
Oh, they have
Or
Northeastern
yeah,
Northeastern is
Northeastern's.
11,
Yeah, that's what I meant. Besides Northeastern, who was at
besides
like 10, I
Northeastern.
want to
Yeah.
say last week.
yeah, I mean, everybody before the season, I think kind of myself included, I bet I just cut out too, didn't I?
You're gonna. No, you're good now.
Okay.
I think the audio
Anywho,
is good.
I think we are all kind of saying that BU was going to be one of those teams that was going to get back to the championship, this year with all the talent they added. And right now they're 8-1, and they are ranked 20th. So
Terrible.
to fall out of the rankings, which is like
33 in the MPI.
it's absolutely wild. They just lost to Vermont, who's one of the bottom feeders of college hockey. So it's like I don't know what's going on in the Hockey East. I don't know if all the goalies are just terrible. or they just don't have guys that are passionate. I mean, BU can certainly make that argument. BC, you can certainly make that argument.
Hmm.
It's just, I don't know. It's been wild to see the downfall of the Hockey East, and it feels like it's old school again. It feels like kind of the WCHA days where all of our teams are just kind of right at the top. So it's a
Hmm.
good feeling this year for college hockey.
You'd have to do a deep dive on this because I don't know, so I'm not going to say anything false. But I wonder how their CHL guys are doing over there. Because you see, the Big Ten's done pretty well. Like Porter Martone's having a good season. McKenna, we go on about him, but he's fine. Like he's been good. I wonder how, and I should do some research on how well a lot of their because I know it's a lot of OHL guys over there, QMJ, how those guys are playing, and then there's just a lot of guys that I'd say a lot of transfers over there that aren't playing well either. Like we off the air, we were talking about how Sasha Boisvert has 1 goal this year, and he's probably a guy you would have had having 20 going into the season. A lot of people probably would have had him ending with 20 goals. So like it is interesting to see what's going on over there. You can't really pinpoint it. I
The
don't
heck is
know.
that noise?
It's yeah. I don't know.
Do you guys hear that? Like someone's tapping on a key. Is that Ian?
No,
No, it stopped. Okay. Sorry. Go ahead, Lincoln. Finish what you're saying.
Oh, that was about it.
Okay, sweet. I think it's Lincoln's mic. I don't know. It only happens when he's talking, but it's fine. It's not a big deal. Yeah, for sure. I agree with that. Uh, I was trying to think about. Uh, I mean, obviously, we watch UND, so we get to see him more. But now thinking at it statistically, I don't have any super statistical way to back this up, but I feel like UND's CHL players are like the most noticeable. Like we picked up and got a lot of good ones. Is it frozen again?
no, you're good.
Okay, you're just sitting extremely still at the end. Sorry. Um, it seems like UNDs are playing phenomenally better than some of the guys that other teams have been getting. It's just like obviously there are a lot of good ones, but UND's like almost all of them have been good, or especially at their position. So like Ollie Josephson's had a good year. Zakreski was playing great until he got hurt. Obviously, Reshny leads the team in points. Verhoff is one of the top defensemen in the country. Who am I missing right now? That's a CHL guy. Anybody? I don't. Oh, Jan Spunar is playing phenomenally, and he played a year in the CHL. Didn't come immediately from there, but he's still technically a CHL guy. He wouldn't have been eligible had it not been for the rule change either. So, anybody got anything to add to what I just said? Like, do we notice that UND seems like they have a lot of older CHL guys are doing really well compared to maybe other programs who have a couple who are really good and maybe hit and miss? Or what do you guys think?
It's just
Yeah, I
kind of a
think
tangent. Oh, go ahead, Lincoln.
I was just say like look at a guy like Ollie Josephson. Like that's a absolute hit. And I think a guy who I would just remembered one on Providence right now, Roger McQueen. He's having a good year, but he was not invited to the World
Yeah.
Junior Team in Canada. So I mean, that's what does that have to say? But yeah, go ahead, Ian.
Kind of a tangent, but it's like we've talked about it, I think, a ton kind of off the air and just personally, but the system that Dane Jackson is running benefits everybody. Like who would have thought that Ben Strinnen would come out and be our leading scorer, for a month straight, and have
Mm-hmm.
basically a 4 or 5 game goal streak. That was
Unreal.
unheard of under Barry. Like I think what we said, Ben Strinnen was lucky to even crack 20 points in the
Mm-hmm.
Bradbury system, and he's kind of already there. And then you look at a guy like Reshny, who's got 19, I think 19 points already off of like 16 assists. That was also kind of an unheard stat, unless your name was Owen McLaughlin and you were just feeding Jackson Blake. Um, it's great to see, like we said earlier, the third and fourth lines look like they're outperforming our top two lines, and that's a system thing that is helping you succeed. So it's like same thing with the CHL guys. I think our system has really benefited those guys and really getting gritty and getting gritty goals, as opposed to teams like BU and Providence and all these other teams who just rely on offensive prowess, and it's clearly not working too well so far. So
Mm-hmm.
kudos to Dane for implementing a system that has like caused these guys that haven't really had great seasons to just explode in production.
Right. And you have to think that hopefully, if that is the case where UNDs are just have done better, that'll hopefully motivate other CHL guys to come try out UND, or it'll just help them get the word out to Canadians more, and
Yeah.
put us on the map even further on in Canada. What were you gonna say, Lincoln?
Yeah, I'll say one more thing. Like, when was the last time that you guys remember seeing a UND team where I feel like the freshmen this year especially, like think of every freshman top to bottom, has adapted way quicker than I would have thought. And
Yeah.
like even like a guy like Sam Rillarilla, who isn't playing as much, but we're gonna see he's gonna get a lot more minutes for the next few weeks. He's gotten a lot better. Jan Spunar's looked
hmm
really good all year. I There's really not a lot of deficiencies in this freshman class. And then once again to the what you guys were saying about the Dane Jackson system, like even your older guys are playing better. Like the Ben Strinden junior to senior jump, most players don't do that. Like how often are your third and fourth lines going out and scoring you game-winning goals and like shutting down? Like
hmm
that was a thing. Like we'd have the shutdown line that would produce a little bit of offense once every 5 games and maybe shut a line down here or two. But now it's just like all four lines are rolling. Like when that you guys can remember? When was the last time you saw a UND team do that? Like so early. And this is like the
I
most guys they've ever replaced too.
Probably
I don't know about
2019, maybe 2020, but
I was
probably
gonna say
16.
I don't know about this early, but 2021 was pretty deep, and that
Mm-hmm.
was a really good team. 2020,
Yeah.
yeah, too, as well, and then 2016 was just a remarkable, just unreal squad for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And all of those teams that were mentioned are like high accolade UND teams to remember, the best in Bradbury's tenure at UND, or those 3 years for sure. Um, Lincoln, would you agree with that, or did you have any? What would you say would be
Yeah,
your answer to
I
that
was gonna
question?
say I don't know. That's why I was asking you guys. I wouldn't say an answer, and I think just what makes it more impressive is how many new guys they brought in. Like
hmm
I'm blanking on the number. Over was it like 15? Oh, more than that maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like it was a stupid number there. That just doesn't what they're doing just doesn't make sense right now. And like I
and the
said, to do with
and
the
the
injuries
staff
they've
turnover.
it's yeah, no, it's unreal. It really is. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, just for
Yeah.
perspective, I don't even think like the Tays, Oshie, and like Parise teams really jumped out to this good
Mm-mm.
start. So it's like,
Oh seven, they were
granted, that's Pac-12
abysmal.
is known for is just like absolutely lighting it up second half and like losing one game total after Christmas. But
That would be unreal. Can you guys imagine that? That has not happened for UND in a while. Like,
And Dane Jackson's a first year coach too, with a GM that had 2 months to put together a team essentially. Like it just doesn't make sense. Like it's crazy.
it's great. You got to hope that this isn't a one year deal. Hopefully, Dane Jackson can just keep this rolling and just get some huge momentum the next couple of years. Um, yeah, anything to add before we wrap this up? We got one extra and then we'll be done. Anyone got anything to add that we missed?
I mean, one final thing just to toot Dane's horn a little bit more is like, I hope that
Getting
recruits notice
glazed.
this. Yeah, we are glazing him because he's like kind of unreal right now.
Absolutely.
Maybe too. Smaby's been on it. It seems like, in all the videos I see that the players really rally behind Smaby, in
hmm
practice, etc. So like that's good to see. But it's like I hope recruits know, and this is what I've been noticing is like all the kind of top end players we had last year regressed in their new teams, while all the guys that we retained have very much exploded in productivity. So I hope players sit there and acknowledge like, hey, Dane just took these guys that had 10, 15 points last season. Now they already have that. So it's hopefully for the next few years to come, Chiswick just keeps kicking ass, and we continue to just have these great squads. I don't want to say we're back, but I think North Dakota hockey's
We're
back.
back. We're back.
We're gonna get swept.
8080 both nights.
We
80
are
80.
back. We are back. Like someone cut to the Hangover clip. Uh, yeah. So just a couple good feel good weekends. Last couple weekends. It's just a great time to be a Sioux hockey fan right now. Uh, we hope the rest of you guys out there who are listening to this are feeling the same way. With that being said, we'll get into the extras. I only have one right now. I don't know if there's anyone else in the NHL that's injured that is a part of this UND alumni base, but Shane Pinto, upper body injury last week. Will head on to IR for the next couple weeks, so he will not be playing for the Sens. Who's the Semdenfelter I heard has been having a really good year for the Atlanta Gladiators.
Now, let me look that
Anyone
up,
got
actually.
anyone got anything on that? I thought maybe you could have it. Someone told me about it. Maybe it was my buddy
Yeah,
Blake,
he had
but
all the jersey sales.
yeah, he's got a hell. Were we talking about that?
Yeah, he was having like some of the top jersey sales for
Yeah.
them. Let's see. He has a 940 so far
Holy
in 10
crap.
games, 1.59 goals against. So yeah, he's kind of tearing it
Oh.
up.
Jeez. Maybe hopefully they'll get elevated to the AHL. We haven't had a goalie go in and play an NHL game in I want to say like 5 years maybe. Was Aaron Dell the last guy to play and he was a backup?
He was Arundel, yeah.
And that's one thing that UND I feel like needs to get rolling on is just developing goaltenders better. Hopefully Jan will maybe be in the league one day, you'd like to think, but um yeah, Aaron Dell. Not many other goalie names that come to mind from UND besides Ed Belfour and John Casey, but uh I don't even know what Shields up to now. Anyone know what Shields doing now? I know Cam Johnson is having a great
Oh,
career in Florida. He's won them
Hopefully.
like what, three championships and two MVPs?
Hmm.
yeah, he's been kicking butt. Shield, I think, is in the AHL right now.
Oh,
Really?
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think he got moved up maybe. He was playing with Idaho for a long
AHL,
time
so he's
and
over in Russia now.
Oh, he
that's what I
is.
thought. Okay. I thought he got moved somewhere,
And he
but
has 915 through 18 games and a 269 GA, so he's doing pretty
eh.
decent over there.
What was his goals against?
2.69, but I don't think his
Oh,
team in
okay.
front of him is very good.
I gotcha. What's his record?
8-7. Or let's
Okay.
see.
So mid. His
Yeah.
team's playing mid probably in front of him. Interesting. I mean, maybe that's something we can go into during holiday break. We'll have a couple weeks where I assume we can just talk about some random stuff. Uh, maybe next week we can go into. Obviously, we'll have to recap the Omaha series, but maybe we can do. I've had a couple fun ideas that I've been waiting for the holiday break. We can do like some UND history stuff, and then maybe we can go over some of the alumni around the world. I know we did that. One of the first episodes in season one, we I went through and found every single alum still playing hockey that played for UND and listed where they were playing. That took me a while to do. I don't know if I'll go to that extent again. That took forever on Elite Prospects. I'm just flipping each name, seeing if they're still playing each name, go back a year, each name, then writing it down. So, yeah, I mean, maybe we'll do something like that. Leave a comment if you do want to see that, but anything else, fellas?
If you guys follow college hockey news at all, the website, we were named Team of the Week this
Right.
morning. So if you haven't read that article, I just kind of browsed through it real quick, and they were giving us a lot of good
Mm-hmm.
props. I know Dane got a big shout out, Spunar got a big shout out on there. So feel free to check that out in your free time, read it. It's a feel good article for us. Kind of like we were saying, we're just kind of riding the highs of the past 2 weeks. So
Yeah, that's a good poll there, actually. I did read that earlier. That one's by Adam Woodon, the guy who doesn't like the rankings, just for clarification. He has his own podcast, CHN Insiders, I think is what it's called. I listen to that every week. So usually they'll talk about the team of the week. So if you are looking for a little bit of a ND bump, go and check out that pod this week. And then obviously listen to College Hockey News or College Hockey Today with Jason Hajdu and Brad Schlossman, and then also the UND Hockey Podcast is always another good one too. So, with that being said, I'd like to take a second to thank all of you for listening to this episode. If you're a returner, thank you for coming back again and listening to us and dealing with us and dealing with the shenanigans and my F bombs. And then also, if you are new, welcome. We hope to see you again next week. Uh, all of our socials will be linked in the description of this video. If you'd like to give us a follow, we're very very active on Instagram. So go and check us out there. Oh yeah, hopefully I'll get that St. Cloud State arena thing, arena tour kind of ranking video. Hopefully I'll get that edited and done sometime this week. I bought new mics for it, invested a little money into the program, and I ended up holding them a little too close to my mouth in a couple of the clips. So don't know how I'm gonna deal with that sound bite, but hopefully we'll get it done. But anyway, yeah, thank you guys for listening. We'll see you guys next week.